Episode 171. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got the Avengers and we have Sacrificers. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And before we jump into it, remember to give me a like and subscribe if you can. And talking about comics, we have Lords of LA, which is my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. This is issue 2, which is going out to my supporters right now. And this is issue 1. They are 48 pages apiece. Is plenty of vampire on vampire action and blood, sex, and gore. And Marilyn Monroe in here as well. So if you want one, let me know. I do sign them. Just let me know in the comments section. In fact, if you are a supporter and you ordered this cover, all of them are going out already, except for people that ordered all the covers. I'm still waiting on a few of the covers to come in. All right, so check that out as well. Also, if you're a fan of Green Hornet and you're a fan of the guy who created Thrawn, Timothy Zahn, they're doing him and Kevin J. Anderson, among others. A bunch of sci-fi writers are doing a Moonstone book with Green Hornet. And you can check out the link in the description below to get notified when we launch that on Kickstarter. So yeah, just hit that link and you'll get notified when we launch next month or whatever. It's probably beginning of the year is when we're going to do it. But yeah, definitely check that out. All right, so let's jump into Avengers. This is number 20 by Jed MacKay. This is leading up to the Avengers versus X-Men again. Of course, we've already had Avengers versus X-Men, and now we're doing it again because that's what we need. And it's because he likes, being Jed MacKay, likes to include all the stuff that he's writing at one time. And he also did that Blood Hunt last thing. And he's okay when he goes into writing Moon Knight, but even Mike from Spider Slayer said he doesn't know how to do team books. His X-Men's bad, his Avengers are bad, so I'm just gonna stay. I dropped this book and then I came back to it because Storm was in it, and Thor left the group. But now we're doing the Avengers versus X-Men, so I'm gonna get a couple of issues of that, and I think I'm done because this is really a bad book. It's really bad, and if you can't write Avengers, man, what is wrong with you? So this has everything to do with just Black Panther, and I'm okay with peeling off a couple of Avengers to, have their own adventure. Because Justice League did that very, very well, where they would break off, on the animated series side, they would break off 2-3 of the members and have their own adventure, and then the next episode would be something else. The same thing they did with Friends. If you really study what they did with Friends, the same thing. They would have all 3 of them pair up with a different, thing every time. So you would have Joey and Chandler on one thing, and then you'd have, whatever, and then every episode, the plot would include 2 of them, just haphazardly be jumped together. So I think that there should have been somebody else in here besides just Black Panther, but it's not very interesting. He went away to this other world to get away from Storm because, they were married at one time. She was the Queen of Wakanda at one time. And so he's in this different world. I mean, the artwork's good. At least there's that. I mean, that's pretty dynamic. But anyway, I guess in this world, there's some kind of a uprising going on. And he's joining these kind of rebel forces to fight against the establishment. And I really don't care. I really don't care. there's all different types of creatures in here. Yeah, I'm just going to really jump through this. Because, again, the artwork's pretty good. But the story just, there's no story. He's facilitating or leading this uprising because they need, a strong guy to rally behind because they don't believe in themselves. And he's fighting this, big champion. It's all the traditional stuff. Very tropey. There's literally no... it almost reminds me of the Superman thing I did with Warworld. But in one issue instead of the very elongated one. The Superman one was decent, though. There was a lot more to that than this is. There's just nothing to this. It's kind of like empty calories for a superhero book. But yeah, you can just see just from the pictures that there's just nothing here. Besides, a battle here and a battle there. And there's just nothing. There's nothing to it. Just nothing. Except good artwork. And that's it for that. Complete piece of trash. So, and it's a $5 piece of trash on top of that, I think. Nope, $4 piece of trash. So, yeah, I don't know how long. I'm just going to see what they do with Avengers vs. X-Men. Take a couple of issues of that. I'm out. All right, so will it make good film and television? No. This is really bad Black Panther as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why they can't write Black Panther anymore. Even the Ultimate one, I dropped that too. I think everybody has. I don't even know if they're still making that book anymore. I don't know what happened. But anyway, let's jump into Sacrifices. This is by Rick Remender. And he is doing a good job of keeping this very limited storyline going. Because you would think like a story like this, after 12 issues, you'd be done. But he's still going. And it's kind of like Void Rivals, where you would think that it would be done by now, and it's still going. So this is about a world made up of, speaking animals, and the gods are all of the elements, right? So you have the sea god. It's kind of like Greek mythology. So you have the Greek god, you got the sun god, you got the moon god, except that these are all living, breathing things that age. They're not even immortal. The only thing that keeps them immortal are this elixir that is created by these sacrifices that are given to them every few years. So you have to give up a child of yours every few years, and then they kill them, and they get this liquid out of their head, so they bring them almost to like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing. They make them all happy eating all this stuff, and then they drill into their heads while they're happy, and this elixir comes out. And then the gods drink it in this big ceremony, party kind of situation. Except the moon god doesn't really want that anymore, and I think she's pretty much dead by this point. So anyway, one of these sacrifices is a pigeon. So the pigeon family, and they're blue pigeons. And the father continually beats this guy, and he doesn't let them in the house. He doesn't even give the kid a name. He leaves them out in the barn, and it's only the little girl, his sister, that's ever been nice to him and brings him food and things to that effect. Otherwise, the family completely shuns him, and the father's reasoning for that was that since you're we can't get attached to you since you're going away. And he puts up a little bit of a fight with giving the kid up, but not a whole lot. So the kid is the only one that lives. The pigeon's the only one that lives out of all the sacrifices. He ends up living. And he ends up getting the princess of the sun god and the moon god, their daughter. He ends up getting her powers. So she's very emaciated right now, and he looks like the Hulk. And he's just going out there and killing gods. He's like, this shit's over, man. This shit's over. I'm ending it. I'm going to kill you all. Forget whatever happens to the world with gods gone. You guys are all history. So the princess, Solina, I think it is ends up hooking up with his family unbeknownst to her. So, because she's traveling, she's being shunned, nobody knows it's her. So we get this kind of, I don't know, world building situation. The world building in here is pretty good. But I really don't understand the beginning. But I guess it's one of the gods there. It looks kind of like a monkey a little bit. He's got this goop that comes out of him because it's coming out of her also. She doesn't know it's coming out of her and killing people. But she killed an entire village unbeknownst to her because she didn't know that this goop was coming out of her and killing her. But the little girl saw it. And she's afraid of her now because it almost killed her. And then it was interrupted. With her becoming awake when they ended up taking them. So they need new sacrifices now, and that's what the princess looks like now. But you can see they're all chained up, and she's like, don't worry, I'm the princess, this is me on the coin. And she's like, why are you still afraid of me? And I'm still not buying the fact that the elixir guy, which is the guy with the horns, who's also a pigeon, doesn't recognize her or didn't realize it's her. But anyway, so the other father, mother and father, this is the only child that's left. The other ones were killed. When the other pigeon killed the water god, it created a tsunami and killed the other kids. So she's the only one left, and now she's been taken as a sacrifice. So there's no kids left anymore. But anyway, they hear something in the woods. He sends people out there, and their heads start rolling. So as audience members, you know it's the other pigeon, right? And here he comes, all armored up. And he starts to fight. Again, the horn guy is the one that creates the elixir and gets the sacrifices from the people's homes. So he's got a personal vendetta with this guy. So we get this battle that he's on this kind of magic carpet, and we get this huge battle going on of axe versus spear or whatever, that, you know, his weapon's been blessed by the gods and all this. So we have this, you know, god versus god battle for the most part, even though he's not a god. But again, the pigeon has godlike powers, and the other guy just has a godlike weapon. So he craters him, and he's still not down. But of course, the weapon he's got, I guess, can kill a god. I don't know. I thought that at least here, as opposed to with Avengers, and he gets his helmet off and he notices that he is a pigeon just like him. Where there's been a build up to this battle, where in Avengers it's meaningless because there was no build up to it at all. So yeah, it surprises him that he's a pigeon, and the other guy uses that kind of distraction to stab him. And he's like, hell no, man. I don't care if you stab me or not. I am going to town. And he just kind of explodes himself. Causing all of this destruction. And in this destruction, he ends up killing his own mom. I didn't even realize she was still there. That was the surprise to me because I thought they walked them away. I thought they were far away at that point. So the father blames him again. After all this time, he's still blaming him for everything. And he's like, oh, I wish you were never born. I wish they had killed you. All the mean shit you could possibly say. But then I guess the underworld god, I got confused here. But I guess the underworld god pulls him down. But there was no lead up to this. This is just completely out of the blue. But he's like screaming out to his father to help him. And of course, the father doesn't do shit because the father is a piece of shit. And that's it for that. So, really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. And will make a good movie. It's only an animated thing because you can't do this in real life because there's so many. It would be too expensive to do this, and it would be like an adult thing. So you can do it animated. So I would say yes. It's really kind of a powerful project for sure. And Avengers, just a complete piece of garbage. All right, well, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I make these videos for people that may not even be collecting comics, just want to kind of see what Marvel and DC and the independents are putting out right now. And yeah, check out some other videos as well. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you can. And if you can, subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell, ding, ding. It's free. Why not? All right, I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching all the way through.